Alright, fellow sleuths, time for the final episode review of the day, which is The Hidden Staircase. Nancy writes in her journal, wondering if she can trust her father. George calls Nancy and the others because her sister Ted is missing. At the scene, Nancy finds a design reminiscent of a 6-year-old case when Nathan Gomber kidnapped Rose Turnbull. McGinnis issues an amber for Ted. Nancy visits Nathan Gomber at Seabright County Prison and then calls kidnapped Rose Turnbull, who had dreams of Nathan talking to the tall thing in the dark. Bess and George have looked at Nathan and give Nancy information on Pine Hill. Carson helps with the tip lines at the police station, and Karen Hart checks Nathan's visit history and finds visits from a Moira Baker. Nancy meets up with Owen Marvin, who shares his records about his family's deals with Nathan Gomber, and recalls Nathan's changed personality leading up to the kidnapping. Nancy suspects the warehouse is affecting people, and the Moira Baker is the new kidnapper. McGinnis texts Nancy a letter from Moira's department, which the group begins working on deciphering. Nick offers help Nancy return to the warehouse, but Nancy turns him down and leaves alone. Karen and Carson discuss Nancy's change after the case with Nathan Gomber. Nick calls Carson because he's worried about Nancy, and Carson meets Nancy at the warehouse. Nancy can't accurately remember how she previously entered the warehouse, which is highly unusual for her and indicates that she has repressed memories from that night. Back at the Claw, the group translates the message from Nathan to Moira and informs Nancy that Moira will sacrifice Ted to Simon. Owen offers to cash reward to help. Nancy and Carson look through the warehouse and find the hidden staircase, and they both recall what happened that night. Nancy finds the tattoo design on a wall, which is a hidden door to a new room, and they find what appears to be a shrine to Simon. Nancy and Carson look through the room, and Carson remains skeptical of the supernatural presence. George learns that Moira's parents own an antique shop, so she and Nick head there. McGinnis questions Nathan at the prison. Based on the letter on linking to Simon with blood, Nancy and Carson destroy the blood at the shrine. Nathan at the prison and Moira at the antique shop both start bleeding painfully where they cut themselves for the ritual. At confronting Moira, George and Nick find Ted, who's okay. To stop Simon, Nancy trashes the shrine and sets it on fire. The trauma of that night finally catches up to her, and Nancy cries and Carson comforts her. Moira Baker confessed and named Nathan Gomber as an accessory in kidnapping Ted Fan. Then there was Nancy that she knew Simon was bad because his scar stirred, and indicates Simon will be back again despite Nancy destroying the shrine. Afterward, Nancy calls back Bess and tells her that Ace has awoken from his coma. At the diner, Bess asks Owen for a DNA test to confirm him with the story about their family connection, and Owen agrees, and also requests an independent test to verify the results. But the notebook found in the warehouse is a letter from Nancy's mother, and Carson and Nancy read it together and reconnect. Nancy later notices that her journal is missing, and McGinnis and Karen Hart arrive to arrest Carson based on what Karen found in Nancy's journal. Oh, that's not good. Anyway, so let's take a look at some trivia surrounding this episode. When young Nancy ascends the staircase in the abandoned warehouse, her pose and the color of the scene are the same as the original artwork on the cover of the book, just mirrored. Nice. So overall, I really enjoyed this episode, and again, I like the callback to the first Nancy Drew story, so yeah. So overall, I give The Hidden Staircase 5 Deerstalkers out of 5. One way to know more is wait till the next episode, The Mark of the Poisoner's Pearl. So, until then, remember everyone, the game's afoot.